You just sign in, sir, and state your name for the record.
Very good. Are we going to call, do a roll call?
Not on Citizens Night.
Okay.
All right, Chad Stubenbort, citizen of Monroeville. Just a few questions, I guess, stemming from the last week's Times Express. One said that there was a balanced budget, no tax increase, and then the next article had said there was a proposed $1 mil increase. So I was looking online and I saw, Tim, in your remarks, you had recommended that at some point there should be a mill going towards capital improvement projects. I was just wondering where we were at with that. Would that be effective now? Would that have to go? I mean, how will real estate tax go on if it's not budgeted for?
I read that same article, and I think what ended up happening, I think that was maybe misquoted. Mr. Little, I believe his remarks were more for like 2018 or down the road. We should consider a $1 mil tax increase just for capital improvements. And then I think when the paper picked it up, they kind of made it sound like it was next year, as in 2017.
Well, yeah, because in the opening remarks of the budget, it does say should seriously begin looking at that pretty soon. So, all right, so that will not be on for this year.
Correct.
That's accurate? Okay. The sewage maintenance tax, is that something that we believe would be enacted this year?
We've tabled that ordinance was that the September meeting?
No, the ordinance was never on.
Oh, the advertising, the motion to advertise it was tabled, so we're not even at the point of advertising it. So I think that's probably something that we're definitely going to consider after the budget.
Okay. Very good, because I had a lot of concerns about that with nonprofits paying, and then also I know the number was 90, 95, somewhere around there per household, and equating to almost a $500,000 increase as well. So
yeah, once again, that's a federally mandated program that we have to get rolling.
it's up to each municipality if they want to enact a tax or not.
It's not a tax.
We never talked about enacting a tax. It was a fee that would be applied to anybody.
This is why tax-exempt organizations are
specifically
exempt from it, because it's a fee, not a tax.
Yeah, including nonprofits,
That included
any
nonprofits,
business.
that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Tax fee. Okay.
It's not a tax, it's a fee.
There's a big difference between a tax and a fee.
Two big differences.
And the program would have to be set up regardless, but it also would have to be paid for.
Correct. All right. I guess the other thing, looking through the budget, were there any cuts made to the budget? I saw that, payments towards debt was reduced. Were there any major cuts or any notable cuts throughout the budget?
I'd like to comment on that, if I could, please. My comment would be to you, our cost of doing business goes up every day. So we plan our budget according to our needs. And right now, our needs are what the budget says. So I don't know, I can't tell you right offhand if there's been any major cuts. Yes, there's been cuts through departments. However, we still need to maintain the municipality properly and safely. So I think you need to know that.
Oh, and I completely agree. But I think another thing, it has to be sustainable. And
What's your question?
my question was, were there any cuts made, any major cuts made in the budget?
Well, in the presentations, the Department of the Senior Center, they reduced theirs by about 65,000, I believe.
Right, 85,000.
And then, so each department, does their best to get as close as they can to it.
Okay. All right. I was just curious. I believe we need to start looking at trimming some of the fat.
What's the fat? Tell me what the fat is.
I could go through.
It sounds to me like you're already running for office.
No, we can look at Times Express articles, and I can bring them up next time.
Well, the article was completely wrong.
Okay. Well, I've expressed my concerns for
Well, your
multiple
concerns
years.
are not valid only because there's not an issue here. We're just doing business on a daily basis like we have to do business in order to maintain a safe environment for our residents. Now, I think you should worry more about your school district than worry about our municipality.
Very good. I won't get into that debate. I will say we had a balanced budget, no fund utilization, and no tax increase.
Well, we have a balanced budget with no tax increase.
With a fund utilization of $500,000. And that's where I was going to is there a plan to somehow reduce that? Because if we're at, it shows $8 million, but we actually have about $4.8 million in our general fund.
In the fund balance?
in the fund balance.
Correct.
So if we're using $500,000 a year, and we're looking at within 8 years, we have 0 in there. So that was my question is, are there cuts going to be made? Are we going to look into a way to run the municipality sustainably?
Well, Chad, if I can address that. Last year, we had budgeted $700,000 of utilization of the fund balance. We didn't need it, okay? Yeah, you are correct. There's about $500,000 there in balance in the budget. But as I've mentioned to council, our fund balance is healthier than it was 5, 6, 7 years ago. Much healthier. Now, with that being said, we did have a tax increase in 2014. But that tax increase, all that did was keep us even, like Mr. Wilson is talking about. Now, you're talking about cutting. This community has cut ever since I've been associated with Monroeville. We are at the bare bones in the police department, in the public works department, in administration. We cannot cut anything more. We have to add. Okay, we have infrastructure, and that's what I talked about in my budget message. We have infrastructure that is falling apart. This whole country is falling apart with infrastructure. Airports, interstates, sewage systems, schools, everything. And there has to be, from every community, every county, every state in this country has to start building up the infrastructure. And Monroeville's no different. All right, yes, this council has to start thinking about a steady stream of income into our capital, whether it's 17, 18, 19, or whatever, it has to be done, or the community is going to fall apart. It's as simple as that. Now, we can't cut anymore. We can't. We have union contracts we have to abide by, and we just can't cut. I mean, we can lay off police officers, we can lay off public works, we can lay off a lot of people, and we can save money, but nothing's going to get done. And that's the bottom line.
Okay. I was just curious if we're looking at making any reductions anywhere in the budget. So with that, thank you very much.
Yeah. Every department head is always looking to cut as much as they can.
We appreciate it.
Great.
Thank you.
An asshole.
I'll leave the floor open for